All right, guys, yesterday we talked about slope, and we talked about slope as being rise over run. We're going to practice that with a slope review worksheet that you're going to get today in class, and you're going to work on this a little bit. Before you do that, we're going to go up by rows, and we're going to get two different colored pencils or crayons. If you have your own, you're more than welcome to use them too. So row 1, go ahead on up. Row 2, go ahead on up. Row 3, row 4, row 5, and finally row 6. So at this point in time, you should have this slope review worksheet in front of you, and you should also have two different colored pencils, or if you have pens, whatever you're going to end up using. The reason that we're going to use two different colored pencils is because we're going to be talking about slope today as rise over run. So you're going to pick one of your colored pencils, and you're going to actually across the top write the word rise over, use your other colored pencil and write the word run. Slope is defined as the rise over run when we look at a line. I'm going to pick up my rise pencil, which you should too. If you look at example number 1, we have the 2 points. Going left to right, this is a positive line because it's going up. I can already know that. So to go from my left point to my right point, I have to rise 1. So I'm going to mark that rise, and I'm actually going to write that number in my colored pencil. I'm ready to do the run part now, so I'm going to actually mark the run in my green, whatever your color is, and it's 2 spots. So my slope is equal to my rise, which is 1, over my run, which is 2. My slope of this line is actually 1/2, okay? Number 2, if we take a look at this example, I can look at the line and going from left to right, it's going down. So I automatically know this is going to be a negative. My rise is going to be my first thing. So to go from the first point to the second point, I'm going to have to go down. So I'm going to highlight over in that color. Going down, we said yesterday, was a negative movement. So I'm going down 2, so we're going to call that -2. To get over to my point, I still need to run. I'm running to the right, which is a positive movement. From here to here is right, and I'm moving right 2 spots. So my rise over run, my slope is -2 over 2. If we're going to simplify that, the slope is actually going to be -1. It turns out to be negative, which is a good thing because my line's going down. You're going to do the rest of the examples on this front page on your own in just a couple seconds here. Number 8 is going to be a funky answer, so we're going to actually just cross that off and not worry about it. Number 5, you're going to find is going to have a slope of 0. I'm going to ask you to look at this one and find out and try and determine a rise over a run. In number 8, you can also do the same thing. You're going to get a funky answer, and the slope here is actually going to be called undefined because you're going to get a 0 in the denominator. Turn it over to the back side for me. Number 9, 10, 11, and 12 are a little different because there are no points that are actually marked on the line for you to use. What you're going to need to do here, and you should be looking at number 9 with me right now, take your regular pencil, and I want you to actually mark points that are on the line where they cross over a gridded area. So for example, there's one here and there's one up here. Okay, it looks like some of these are kind of close, but they're not exactly on the line, so let's take those two. In number 10, 11, and 12, you're going to have to find the same things as well. Right now, you're going to go ahead and you're going to complete this worksheet, and you're going to get it checked, okay, by either Mr. Hagen, Mr. Basler, whichever one of them is in here at this point, and or Mrs. Brider at that time. When you're done with this, I'm going to ask you to keep this on your desk because you actually are going to go back and reuse this and try to do some of the problems to find the equations later on.